The moment Meghan Markle stepped onto that glittering Dubai stage, something invisible cracked, and the world didn't hear it yet, but the palace did. It wasn't just her presence, it wasn't just the diamonds, it wasn't even the speech. It was the message hidden between her words. A message that thundered across oceans and detonated inside Buckingham Palace like a silent bomb. Because behind that perfect smile, behind that polished confidence, Meghan had done something no one expected, and according to internal palace whispers, something the monarchy would never forgive. At precisely 7:46 a.m. GMT on January 31st, the unthinkable happened. A formal declaration emerged from Buckingham Palace. Not leaked, not rumored, issued, cold, precise, final. And at the center of it all were two innocent names: Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor. According to palace insiders, this wasn't just another royal disagreement. This was a full-scale institutional intervention, the crown itself stepping in, not quietly, but with calculated authority. But to understand why the palace snapped, you have to go back to Dubai. January 24th, 2026. The Royal Women's Empowerment Forum, a stage drenched in gold light, cameras flashing, diplomats watching, billionaires listening, and Meghan Markle center stage, radiating confidence like nothing could touch her. But insiders noticed something strange immediately. She wasn't introduced as a former royal. She wasn't introduced as Prince Harry's wife. She introduced herself differently. She spoke of herself as the mother of the next generation of royal changemakers. Not former, not distant, present, active, royal. And that single moment sent shockwaves through the monarchy's inner core. Because according to confidential agreements signed years earlier, Meghan and Harry had accepted strict limitations. They could not commercially leverage royal identity. They could not use royal associations for personal ventures without authorization. But in Dubai, Meghan didn't just walk close to the line. She erased it. She wore diamond earrings gifted to the crown itself, jewels that carried symbolic weight. She stood beneath banners referencing her children's royal status. And according to internal diplomatic observers, branding materials appeared that included royal crests and references tied to her upcoming lifestyle empire. It wasn't subtle, it was bold, and the palace noticed immediately. Because this wasn't just a speech, this was positioning. This was power. This was Meghan reminding the world and the monarchy that she still held something the crown could never fully control: her children. Behind palace walls, panic wasn't visible, but it was real. King Charles reportedly attempted to contact Harry. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Silence, no response, no explanation, just distance. Meanwhile, Harry himself appeared thousands of miles away in Las Vegas, alone, detached, emotionally withdrawn, according to insiders who saw him there. The palace interpreted the silence as something dangerous, not rebellion, not defiance, absence. And absence in royal succession matters is weakness. Behind closed doors, meetings intensified. Confidential reports began stacking up. Evidence, financial audits, brand contracts, internal testimonies, all building a picture the monarchy could no longer ignore. Princess Anne, known inside palace circles as the monarchy's most ruthless defender, compiled a dossier. 17 documented incidents. 17 moments where Meghan allegedly used royal identity connections without approval. Brand partnerships referencing Archie and Lilibet. Commercial positioning strategies tied to their names. To Anne, this wasn't motherhood. This was monetization. And she reportedly said something that froze the room. These children are not stepping stones for private wealth. They are Windsor. That sentence changed everything. Because in that moment, this stopped being a family disagreement. It became institutional defense. Meanwhile, Meghan wasn't backing down. Sources revealed she was preparing her memoir, a book insiders described as explosive, a mother's story, a fight against erasure, a counterattack written not just for readers, but for history. And then came the moment that triggered the palace's ultimate move: an alleged private donor event in Dubai. Closed doors, no cameras. But according to intelligence briefings shared with palace officials, Meghan said something that spread through royal circles like wildfire: "Let them try to take my children. This crown feeds on tradition, and I am rewriting the script." Whether whispered in frustration or declared in defiance, those words reached the sovereign circle, and the crown responded. On January 30th, an emergency quorum vote was held. Princess Anne voted yes. Prince William voted yes. Senior royal leadership voted yes. The motion passed unanimously. Princess Catherine was appointed guardian of royal succession for Archie and Lilibet. Not symbolically, legally. Institutionally, irreversibly, the palace framed it as protection, but inside royal walls, insiders knew the truth. This was containment. This was control. This was the crown drawing a line in stone. And Meghan, thousands of miles away, was now standing on the opposite side. The internet exploded. Supporters rallied behind Meghan, accusing the monarchy of overreach. Critics accused Meghan of pushing too far, too fast. But inside Montecito, something else was happening. Silence. No immediate response. No press conference. No denial. Just quiet. And inside Buckingham Palace, that silence was interpreted as something dangerous. Because silence doesn't mean surrender. Silence means strategy. And this war wasn't over. It was just beginning. Inside Montecito, the silence wasn't peaceful. It was suffocating. Because by the time Meghan Markle woke up to the news that Princess Catherine had been officially installed as guardian of royal succession for her children, the damage had already spread beyond repair. This wasn't gossip anymore. This wasn't tabloid drama. This was a legal reality that had quietly wrapped itself around her life while she was standing under Dubai's golden lights, believing she was still in control. The internet was on fire, but Meghan wasn't reacting publicly. She wasn't posting, she wasn't speaking, she wasn't explaining. And that silence terrified the palace more than any speech ever could. Because Meghan had always fought back. Always. But this time, she didn't. Behind the scenes, her legal team scrambled. Emergency filings, jurisdictional defenses, strategic positioning. They moved fast, attempting to anchor Archie and Lilibet firmly inside California's legal protection, arguing that the children were American residents, not institutional property of a centuries-old monarchy. But the palace had anticipated that move weeks earlier. Every contract, every financial record, every movement tied to the children had already been compiled, categorized, weaponized. This wasn't a reaction. This was a trap that had been quietly assembling itself since mid-2025, and Meghan had walked straight into it. Inside Kensington Palace, Catherine wasn't celebrating. There were no public smiles, no victory gestures, because insiders revealed something unexpected. She was preparing, not for a media battle, for a transition. Psychological specialists were quietly consulted, educational frameworks drafted, heritage reintegration programs outlined with terrifying precision. The palace wasn't thinking in weeks. They were thinking in decades. Every detail calculated to ensure Archie and Lilibet would remain tethered to royal continuity regardless of parental resistance. Private tutors, institutional guardianship oversight, intellectual property protections preventing commercial use of their identities without crown approval. The machinery of monarchy wasn't emotional, it was mechanical, and once activated, it didn't stop. Meanwhile, Prince Harry was unraveling. For weeks, he had remained invisible. No statements, no appearances, no defense of his wife, no rejection of the crown's decision, just silence that grew heavier by the day. Insiders close to his private security described him as disconnected, sleepless, wandering through his own home like a man trapped between two worlds that were tearing him apart. Because Harry wasn't just losing control of a legal battle, he was losing control of his identity. On February 14th, something shifted. A private encrypted message was sent. From Harry to William. No press release ever confirmed it. No palace statement acknowledged it. But insiders revealed the message was not aggressive. It wasn't angry. It was fractured, conflicted, emotional. Harry wasn't declaring war. He was breaking. He reportedly admitted he felt cornered, torn between protecting his family and confronting the institutional force he had spent his entire life trying to escape. And for the first time since leaving the monarchy, Harry was no longer standing firmly beside Meghan. He was hesitating, and hesitation inside royal power structures is fatal. Because the crown doesn't wait for emotional resolution, it advances. On February 15th, King Charles made his final move, a directive that had been prepared quietly, held in reserve, waiting for the precise moment Harry's emotional resistance weakened enough to ensure minimal public resistance. The Heritage Sovereignty Clause was activated, a constitutional mechanism rarely used, designed specifically for moments when royal succession faced instability beyond parental control. With one signature, Charles reaffirmed Catherine's guardianship authority permanently, not temporarily, not conditionally. Permanently. The palace released its final public statement shortly afterward, calm, controlled, unemotional, But beneath the formal words was a message that echoed through every royal corridor. This was over. From that day forward, all institutional matters concerning Archie and Lilibet would fall under the crown's guardianship authority, not their parents. The monarchy had taken back control, and Harry collapsed. Multiple insiders confirmed he retreated completely. No public appearances, no recorded responses, no visible resistance. Just a man watching his life fracture in real time, unable to stop forces set in motion long before he understood how dangerous they had become. Meghan, meanwhile, stood alone. Her memoir deal reportedly began faltering. Publishers grew nervous. Streaming partners hesitated. Corporate allies quietly stepped back, unwilling to challenge the institutional gravity of the crown. The empire she had been building, the brand, the positioning, the narrative, suddenly found itself surrounded by legal barriers she couldn't easily dismantle. For the first time since stepping away from royal life, Meghan was facing something she couldn't outmaneuver with public perception: institutional permanence. The palace didn't celebrate publicly, because monarchy doesn't celebrate victory. It absorbs it. Quietly, coldly, completely. Inside royal walls, reintegration plans quietly advanced. Educational trust established, guardianship protocols activated. Heritage preservation measures implemented with clinical precision. Catherine stepped into her new role not as a rival, but as an institutional shield. The children weren't being taken physically, they were being reclaimed symbolically, legally, permanently tethered to the structure Meghan had tried to escape. Publicly, the media cycle began shifting. New scandals replaced old headlines. Attention drifted elsewhere. But inside Buckingham Palace, one phrase lingered among senior royals: not exile, rescue, not punishment, protection. Because in the crown's eyes, this was never about Meghan Markle. It was about continuity, control, survival. And in the end, the monarchy did what it has always done best. It waited, it calculated, and when the moment came, it acted. Silently, decisively, irreversibly.